It was a Christmas day to remember for the Dallas Cowboys as they take down the Washington Commanders 30-23. Dak Prescott was fantastic. He had an early touchdown pass to Jake Ferguson. The Cowboys' run game was electric, over 200 yards rushing in that 7-point win up in Landover, Maryland. Welcome into Special Edition. Alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton, I'm Kyle Youmans. Hope you had a fantastic holiday season and a happy new year. The Cowboys heading into the final week of the regular season with a matchup with the New York Giants coming up this week in Week 18. But, of course, the Cowboys not in the playoff picture. 7-8-1 is their record. They could get back to 500, which would be fantastic in year number one for Brian Schottenheimer. But the question now becomes, do you play the starters for this Cowboys team? Barry, I'm going to start with you. Okay. Is there a reason to play the starters, and would you?
For me, no. There's no reason to play these starters, in my opinion. I'm talking about the building block, the core pieces of your team that you're moving forward with. The Dak Prescotts of the world, the Tyler Smiths, the CeeDee Lambs, those guys, to me, don't need to be out there playing. I believe the risk outweighs the reward in this situation. I believe from now on, this last game going into the season, this is for your younger players, the depth players that haven't had that valuable experience out there of getting actual in-game reps. I think it's time for those guys to go out there and you can see what they can do going forward to see how your depth pieces align next season. But for me, I wouldn't play those core starters this late in the season. The risk just outweighs the reward for me.
I agree with Barry, and that would be a negative, Ghost Rider. You do not play your superstars. Starters, yes, that conversation, that is not all-encompassing, but your superstars, as Barry mentioned, the people that you cannot live without, the guys that are irreplaceable right now, your core players, those guys need to sit down and watch from the sidelines. I feel as if that should have happened last week as well, but to Barry's point, there's no benefit. There's only risk. So this is an opportunity for you to see some of your depth guys, like he said. You need to see your veterans, guys that you're looking at re-signing, guys that you're looking at potentially filling roles next year, or can those be guys that you can depend on? And then some of your young guys that haven't necessarily had the reps this year, this is a great opportunity for them to go out there and get some real season reps against starters and not just simply off the preseason reps.
Wow, it's just hard for me not to be old school. I don't mind if the starters are superstars play, but you know what? I would like to see some of these young guys. I would like to see Milton. I would like to see Ford. I would really like to see – pronounce that, Kyle. I don't want to miss it. I would really like to see this kid play. I think he's got something that's special, and it's other guys that we need to see play. But, hey, you know what? Do what you do, Coach.
And that's the thing, is it's going to be a couple guys that'll get some extra snaps, and there will be other guys that won't see the field at all for some of those opportunities. On the defensive side of the ball, Cowboys defense has not been good throughout the 2025 season. That, of course, is not any secret. Now, when it comes to the defense, the points per game, second worst in the NFL, one of the worst that they've seen as a unit in franchise history. That is significant in its own right. How about passing yards per game? Over 255 passing yards per game. By far the worst in the NFL. Next closest around that 240 mark. But when it goes from yards to points, not much better. Mike Nolan in 2020, over 470 points allowed. Mike Zimmer in 2024, 468. And then Matt Eberflus this season closing in on both of those marks, which are one of the toughest and highest rankings in Cowboys history. So what type of improvement do you want to see from this Cowboys team, whether it's this week, Barry, or it's in the offseason moving forward?
Whatever the case may be, I need this team, one, especially in the back half, to get better at communicating. Go ahead and talk to one another out there. There's too many times so far this season where we saw these guys line up and not say a word to each other. They're just sitting there focusing on their job and their responsibility. That makes for a team that's going to give up a lot of explosive plays, as you see the averages that Kyle just said out there. So for me, this team has got to communicate out there and get on the same page. Understand your strengths and weaknesses of your defense. How offenses are going to attack a cover three, or how offenses are going to attack your man-to-man coverage. You've got to be talking out there with one another so you can be on the same page. Secondly, I need this for the front seven. They've got to start winning these one-on-one opportunities. I mean, with Michael Parsons left, you didn't get as many one-on-ones as you've had when he was here, but when Quentin Williams came back, you got one-on-one opportunities and you still weren't able to take advantage of them. So for me, the players they have to look themselves in the mirror, go out there and say, how can I get better, and how can I go out there and help this defense? And as a whole, they have got to communicate and be on the same page, or you're going to see another lapse in the secondary where they're giving up these explosive plays, and you can't be a great defense giving up as many explosive plays as this Dallas Cowboys defense has.
I'm just going to go. Let's go ahead and fast forward to next season. All right, let's go ahead and bypass the last game because there's nothing that's going to take place in the last game that's going to make me go, yeah, this makes me feel good. So let's go ahead and talk about, are you going to bring back your defensive coordinator? If you're going to bring back your defensive coordinator, what does that identity look like? As of right now, this is the first year I can think about in previous years where you did not understand what your actual identity and ethos of your defense was supposed to be. Were you a pressure team? Were you a coverage team? Were you a team that takes the ball away? We don't know. Every week we're hoping to see something that resembles some type of defense that's effective, but we didn't know what it was. So I think that they need to possess some type of identity. That's what they need to figure out, whether that's in the form of a coach, whether that's in the form of personnel, but multiple changes have to occur this offseason.
Well, the Cowboys did make a switch in personnel when it came to this week. They did release Trayvon Diggs. It was a big move on the secondary side of things. Here's what Brian Schottenheimer said about the move.
It was one of many factors. It was not the only factor. I'm not the Grinch that stole Christmas. Okay, I love Christmas. I love my family. But at the end of the day, we have a protocol that we go through, and the process was not followed. First time I heard about it, Trayvon, grabbed me after the game, and I'm celebrating a big win, and I explained to him the protocol, which has always been the protocol of we go up as a team, we come back as a team. And he decided to make a different decision. But I'll say this, Calvin, it was not the only reason that this decision was made.
So there you hear it from Brian Schottenheimer at the end, Nate. Not the only reason that decision was reached, but the Cowboys do move on from Trayvon Diggs. Give me one word to describe what that release was like.
Relief. Relief for the team and for him.
Yeah, I'm agree with you. I'm going to double down on the relief. It's been too much of a circus.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. Relief and overdue. I feel like this should have happened a while ago, but kudos to the Cowboys for getting it done.
And they did get it done. It was a tough decision to make, and he does get claimed off of waivers by the Green Bay Packers, which means his contract remains in place, and he can play as soon as this Sunday as a part of the Packers secondary, of course, with his buddy Micah Parsons on that roster, but not playing due to his season-ending injury. We've got plenty more coming up here in Special Edition. Of course, later in the show, we're going to take a look at what has made Dak Prescott special here in 2025. He's put up incredible numbers. Could be the first Cowboys passer to ever lead the league in passing yards. When we come back, though, let's take a look at the offensive line. How do you feel like that unit has taken steps in the right direction?
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Reliant, official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. And by AT&T. Connecting changes everything. This segment is brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas.
According to NFL Next Gen Stats, here are the rankings for the Cowboys starting offensive line this season with a minimum of 350 snaps at their respective positions. Of course, you would anticipate the struggles from some of these guys, but really Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith at the guard spots have been fantastic. And when available, Tyler Guyton has been very good this year. Cooper Beebe and Terrence Steele both struggling at different points in the season. Nate, we're talking offensive line. I got to start with you. What do you make of this offensive line as they go into the final week of the regular season and then have some big decisions to make going into the offseason?
They got to be more available. Injuries hurt them. Tyler Guyton, you need to be more available, son. You got to play more than 3 games in a row. You got to stop. You got to get 7, 8 games in. Cooper Beebe, you got to have perfect hand placement. You got to be able, with short arms like that, you got to have perfect hand placement. Right tackle, you just got to get better feet. You got to work out a little bit harder on the ropes, on the jumping rope and the ground rope. So those are the 2 guys or 3 guys that I can just say, looking at them from film, what they need to do.
I just want to see these guys become a better unit. To everything that Nate just said is absolutely, obviously correct. But in order, the best ability is availability, and in order to have continuity, you have to have all those guys together. They just haven't had enough of that. There's been too many musical chairs this season.
Yeah, without a doubt, these guys definitely need to play better as a unit. And from what I look at with these numbers, I mean, your two guards, they're outstanding. I think those are guys that you could grow with. Now, on the edges, the tackles, like Guyton, he needs to become more available out there. And Terrence Steele, he's become more of a roller coaster player. At times, he looks outstanding out there, but then there's other times in the majority of this season where he's getting beat, whether one-on-ones or he's getting beat with the penalties and drive killers. You can't have that and have a successful offensive line. So the edges need a little bit of work, but the interior, I'm impressed with the interior so far.
With the investments that they've made on the offensive line, it'll be interesting to see how they attack that in the offseason, because they would have to make another investment there. However, when they're all together, which is rare, they've been pretty solid across the board. Offensive line, always a key for this football team. Also, having the quarterback playing at the level that Dak Prescott has this year is at another key for this team. How has Dak had success in 2025? We take a look at his season when we come back.
This segment was brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. This segment is brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan.
All right, so if you're in here, obviously we get paid well. Coaches get paid. You'll see support staff, some of these guys get paid very well. However, these others, people that do a lot for us, we want to help contribute to them to just say thank you, right? So all this is Christmas bonuses. This is something we've done every year. Everybody has a sheet. It's all going to add up once we all of our money goes into that pot. Give more to the guys that work with you, right? The guy that's snapping the ball for the line, guy that's holding the dummies for the D-line, right? The guys that take care of your equipment, whether they clean your locker. That's an opportunity to give them more. So the gist of all of this, once again, not to make it too hard, Keith, say it.
Don't be cheap, man.
You heard that? Don't be cheap. Don't be cheap.
Dak Prescott and the Cowboys stepping up throughout the holidays to provide for some of those on the coaching staff and some of that extra staff saying, don't be cheap. Let's make sure and take care of those who take care of us. Welcome back in to Special Edition with Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, and Nate Newton. Of course, Dak has been a leader throughout his career. I mean, what has made him so successful this season in 2025, both on and off the field?
I mean, we all know about Dak Prescott in the locker room. He's one heck of a leader, obviously taking care of the locker room and what he does in terms of the community. But on the field, he's just been consistent. Obviously, he had an entire offseason to get himself healthy. He's been taking care of business there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, he's one of the best leaders off the field that I've ever seen or ever played with. Not only that, but on the football field, when you look at Dak Prescott and what he's been able to do, he's been consistent. He hasn't turned the football over, a lot this season. And I also have to give credit to his supporting staff. I mean, when you look out there, he has the wide receiver duo in George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. He has a 1,000-yard rusher in Javonte Williams. And Ferguson, Nate's boy, has been a red zone monster so far this year. So the combination of his play and supporting staff has led to a successful season for Dak Prescott.
This is the first year since Amari Cooper left, and they had a young CD that he's had tools to work with in his toolbox. And I've always bragged on him. When you give him the tools, he's a top 5, top 6 quarterback in the league. Hey, love you, Dak. Keep rocking. Thanks for the coat.
I love that. I think you got to continue to give him credit for building the weapons around him. I mean, Ryan Flanoy doesn't have the season that he's having without Dak Prescott. Kevontae Turpin, and the few times he's flashed throughout the year, and then, of course, those tight ends as well, stepping up in a big way. George Pickens has said it as well. He's never had a quarterback quite like Dak Prescott that he's played with throughout his career, and so 4 makes a huge impact on this Cowboys football team. When we come back on Special Edition, let's take a look around the NFL. Playoffs coming up in just a couple of weeks. Who are some of the contenders?
This segment was brought to you by the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan. This segment is brought to you by the Salvation Army, doing the most good.
This week and throughout the playoffs, the NFL using a special commemorative game ball celebrating the United States' 250th anniversary on the Duke. The Duke decked out a little bit for the 250th celebration. Now the Cowboys only get to use it in Week 18. They don't get an opportunity. Okay.
That's weak, man.
That's a pretty good spin right there.
That boy had flashbacks. That's PTS. That's PTSD. PTSD right there.
You see how quick the reaction was there. That ball's still spinning, by the way. Cowboys not going to play in the playoffs with the football. It is going to be a nice look in Week 18, however. Here are some of the opportunistic teams going into the final week of the regular season. Of course, that Panthers game is going to be huge against the Buccaneers. This is what it would look like if the season ended today, but of course there's still some playoff spots up for grab. Barry, I'll start with you on this one. What playoff team currently intrigues you the most?
I hate to say it, but for me, it's got to be the Philadelphia Eagles. They're intriguing to me. I mean, if you got a chance to go back-to-back winning the Super Bowl, this team has been a team that no matter what happens out there, up 21, down 21, they find ways to win. So I like to see what they can do in the playoffs.
Man, you're out your mind. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks, a different type of bird. All right, different type of bird. It is not good only because I'm from Seattle, but because of the fact I believe that their offense is still underperforming and they're still in the first place position. So if their offense picks it up even a notch, along with that defense and that special teams, they are a complete problem.
Sam Donald, you got to overcome that. But anyway, I'm going with the Rams. I picked them at the beginning of the year because I see them practice. I know how hard they coach put things in place. Let's see if they can come back.
I'm intrigued at the fact that none of you guys said the Patriots, who are 13-3. None of you said the Broncos, who are 13-3. Some of the best records in the NFL weren't even mentioned there.
You're talking about the AFC. We NFC cats. You know what I'm saying? We NFC guys.
I like it. Plenty of playoff pictures still to be decided going into the final week of the regular season. So we'll enjoy the game as much as you guys will on the side. Of course, the Cowboys have one more game left, and they're going to showcase some of their Pro Bowlers. When we come back, the Cowboys Pro Bowls honorees have been mentioned already. We'll talk about how big of a reward that is for these guys.
This segment was brought to you by the Salvation Army, doing the most good. Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Dallas Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV. Special edition presented by AT&T was brought to you by your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. And by AT&T, connecting changes everything.
Those first 30, it was like he was lifting a salad fork.
Chris Perman with the call. Larry Allen, 43 reps of 225 pounds on the bench press at the NFL Pro Bowl Skills Challenge back in 2006. That wasn't even his prime, and he was hitting 43 on the bench press. I mean, Nate, how many could you hit right now if you went 225?
Oh, probably about 3.
Oh, you can still hit 3, though.
Just to get it
That's
off,
impressive.
put it on my chest, and roll it on the ground.
Remove other reps.
Isaiah could at least get 15, I think.
Easy. No,
Easy
not
money.
even a little bit.
Easy money, 15. I love it. So many cool moments from the Pro Bowl Skills Challenge, and the Cowboys will have some representatives that we know of, at least 5 at the moment. We'll see what the replacements look like when the Super Bowl teams are set. But how about the Pro Bowl still meaning something to these players? Barry, does it still mean something to be named to the Pro Bowl like Brandon Aubrey, George Pickens, Dak Prescott, Tyler Smith, and, of course, Quinnen Williams?
I feel like it's got to be an unbelievable honor, even though, they don't play the actual game that much anymore, but I still believe it has to be an unbelievable honor. I've never made one personally. I was an alternate in, 2017, but I've never made one personally, but I still have to believe it's an unbelievable honor.
Yeah, it's huge, man. You got the whole league that's acknowledging the fact that you're one of the best in the league. These guys are well deserving of it. Obviously, their team goals did not meet with their standards are, but individually, this is everything that you want.
Yeah, I made a few of them, and it's a very great thing. Believe me, fellas.
Made a few of them.
Yeah.
say this man made 6 of those Pro Bowls back in the day, and he won 3 rings to go along with it as well. Lots of great nuggets and stats along. Tyler Smith, the 3rd guard in Cowboys history to make it in 4 of his first 5 years, joining Larry Allen, who we just saw, and of course Zach Martin. 2 guys that'll be in Canton at some point in time. Tyler Smith makes his 4th in his first 5 years. Dak Prescott has made 4 Pro Bowls as well. Quentin Williams first since 2018, and Amari Cooper to make a Pro Bowl with the Cowboys after starting the season with another team. So plenty of fun stats and honors to go around. Of course, the Cowboys play their final regular season game of 2025 against the Giants coming up on Fox this week at noon. New York is ready for the Cowboys. Are the Cowboys ready for New York? Trying to get back to 500. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll see you next week with more Special Edition.